So if the leak occurred long ago and is no longer an active leak, in which case we might not find a source, why would that not have been found since 2007 when the monitoring program began?
Yeah, again, I think it's really unknown exactly what the behavior of the water under the ground is there. You know, as somebody who's done spelunking and seen underground rivers and underground creeks and the behavior of water underground, it can be as much as a small little underground rivulet of water, and it could be that it was where that well was and that this larger plume existed until they started drilling new wells. So it's, again, a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you. Go ahead, Jack.
Just, I'm sorry, how, are they going to, now because safety is the purview of the NRC, when and if there's a leak found and there's a determination about what they're going to do to fix this, will you be consulted in any way to say, here's our opinion of, for instance, I can see them saying the plant goes down in 4 to 6 months for refueling. We can contain this until the plant goes down for refueling, or we don't think this is as big a leak as you think it is, or it is as much a danger as, how much influence are you going to have in the process?
Well, our rule never has and currently does not have any provisions for requiring the plant to cease operations.
Oh, I understand.
For tritium. The NRC has the license with them, but we have substantial powers within our own rule for public health and safety. And they, for example, allow our commissioner designee to go on site any time, to demand any documents, and to collect any samples. And obviously, in addition to those powers, we could seek an order from the Public Health Board, and we would work with all of our partners in state agencies, and we would work with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to provide our opinion as to this. So we would hope that common sense would prevail there. Until we reach that point, I'll have to rely on those powers that we do absolutely have, which I believe are substantial for our ability to know what's going on there, and then on that basis be able to make recommendations to our governor, our legislature, and others as to what we believe is an appropriate path for the state.
Kirk.
Mr. Irwin, the press is here, and I just want to get clear characterization of what you...
Kurt, are you comfortable with the press being?
Are you running for mayor again?
Sorry. You know how the press can be. Just kidding. But I just like to hear you characterize. We talked about, you said that it's possible the leak would never be found. So I just, would you want the word to go out to the citizens of Vermont that it's possible that the leak could never be found? How would you characterize that? Would you characterize that as remote, or it's an extreme possibility? Are you confident that the leak will be found and that it's just a remote chance it won't be? Just thinking about the word going out to Vermonters about how serious this is. I mean, it's serious, no question. But.
No, I believe you raise a valid point, and it should have been a part of my statement that indeed I think it would be a lot more likely that a source or sources are found, and that those sources can be repaired, and whatever is causing this groundwater contamination can be ceased, and that the cleanup can begin. It is a possibility that it's not, it's much less likely possibility.
Thanks.
I'm somewhat comforted personally by having had you in here, because I find your statements on record to the level of concern that you believe that this is a serious situation. I have not been comforted with statements made, not necessarily by you, but with statements made out there that would give people pause to think that this what is not a serious nature. So I thank you for that. I did read. I think I read something, so I'm gonna ask you about this. And if you didn't say it, then issue closed. I thought I read something that was attributed to you, where you made a statement that this was a good corporation. Is that fair?
I'm certain that I never said those words. What I did say, and I think it was actually in the House committee downstairs here, is that with regard to our recommendations on actions to be taken for public health, we would expect that this utility, this company, would take our advice as a responsible regulated entity. I think that those were the terms that I used. And in particular, that also comes from perspective where over the past 4.5 years working here with the state, given that we are working in public health issues with Entergy Vermont Yankee, they do share the same concerns we share for public health protection. And as such, I've had very good working relationship with them. I've asked for things and it's generally been provided in a timely manner. And it may be because we're talking health when I talk to them. So my personal experience may be better than what it has been for others. I certainly also have a great deal of care to ensure that our key perspective is not their perspective, but it's ours, which is to protect the public. And no matter what it is that they're doing, we need to have a very critical eye as to how it's done, how promptly it's done, how effectively it's done. And that continues very, very intensely now in this very serious situation.
Well, I am very glad to hear those words, and I would also share you that if I derive any comfort from this operation, my comfort is derived that I do believe that the employees of that plant do the very best job that they can. I don't share that opinion of their management and their corporate ownership. So I would have asked you, had you been attributed to those words, what in your background could qualify you to make a judgment as a health officer that this was a good corporation? You don't have to answer that because you didn't say it. That's exactly where I was headed. Anybody else have any questions before we let him get to his phone call? I thank you very, very much for being here. It has been extremely helpful.